Hello, everyone. Ex-Wallkill Bethelite here. And I want to tell you what a covert crash is. Now, this is something that I like to do, and I call it a covert crash. Now, it's not that it's any better or that I disagree with anything anyone else does, because I'm 100% for anything anybody else can think of. The thing I like about the covert crash versus, let's say, the Kingdom Hall crash is with the covert, with what I like to do, you can do it again and again and again and again. It's a little bit of a slower method than the Kingdom Hall crash. The covert crash is a little bit of a slower method. The Kingdom Hall crash is like throwing a grenade. You know what I mean? It's going to blow up. It's going to alert everybody. And now you got to go and you can't come back to that same location because you blew up a grenade. Everybody sees. The covert crash is more like I'm perched up like a sniper, right? Now, it's slower because you're taking one shot at a time, but they don't realize where it's coming from. Everybody's looking around. There's an alert, but they don't know where it's coming from. So you're able to move around. You're able to try it again and again and again. And that's what I like to do. And I'm going to be doing more of that later on this month, near the end of this month, going into December. And, you know, it's the covert crash season. You know, it just so happens where the Jehovah's Witnesses, where they like to, you know, spread their cult starting in September, and their service year goes on until the end of the year. My covert crash service year starts at the end of next month because my schedule is changing, and it goes on to the end of the year. So why I like to do the covert crash now, and I'll explain more of what that is because of the domino effect. The domino effect that circumstances have had on Jehovah's Witnesses. Everyone wants to know, how do you wake up Jehovah's Witnesses? Well, look at the circumstances Jehovah's Witnesses find themselves in and capitalize off of that. What do I mean? Well, recently, meeting attendance have been down. Jehovah's Witness meeting attendance has been down. Well, that makes them more desperate to talk to people who they think are interested. The desperation goes up. Whereas in the past, a Jehovah's Witness would go up to a door and talk to somebody, and if that person even halfway seemed like they knew their Bible, that Jehovah's Witness wouldn't come nowhere else near that door. Well, the desperation now is a lot higher than it was before because A, the meeting attendance has been down. B, now you have the Zoom meetings where the actual physical meeting attendance is even down further. And Jehovah's Witnesses have not been in practice as far as their door to door, as far as standing next to carts. For years, they've been out of practice. Their guard is down. They're not as sharp as they once were. They're not as on point as they were when they had been doing the door-to-door, the standing next to carts, all those cult things that they were doing. They had been doing it, and they've been doing it consecutively for years. They're a little bit more sharp. Well, after COVID, They hadn't been doing that for years. They've been writing letters. So their guard is down. They're a little bit more nervous, a little bit more self-conscious. They're not thinking about this person may be covert. So there's people that like to do the cart crashes, and I love it. I love watching it, right? There's someone that likes to do they got a sign and they go stand next to the carts whenever they can find them, and they stand there with the sign showing people who these cult members really are, and the Jehovah's Witness scrambles and they go running. I love it. There's people that have crashed memorials, crashed kingdom halls. I sit back and I get my popcorn and I eat my popcorn and I drink my orange soda and I love it. What I like to do is the covert crash. I tried it in New York and it works. Where because Jehovah's Witnesses are so desperate for a Bible study, they're so desperate to try and indoctrinate you, it leaves them open for you to try waking them up. This is why I explain a little bit more about what the covert crash is. The covert crash is where you pretend to be open for indoctrination, for a Bible study, for a discussion, to be converted. And the Jehovah's Witness looks at you like a hungry wolf looks at a sirloin steak. And they cannot help but to jump out at you on the prowl. Well, the problem is they expose themselves whenever they do that. And when I went to New York and I tried the covert crash, it worked so well. When I went inside the Kingdom Hall, everybody came to me. They tried the love bombing, right? This video was for more so people who are activists, former Jehovah's Witness activists, not just a former Jehovah's Witness, not just an ex-Jehovah's Witness, right? Not just somebody that used to be an activist, right? This video is more towards an activist. Everybody in the Kingdom Hall in New York, when I was doing the covert crash a few years ago, everybody came to me and I could talk to any one of them. And I could ask them questions. Hey, I've been doing some research online. It doesn't matter how much they say, well, there's people that might write negative things. Well, you still can ask about those negative things. I would ask questions, and guess what? The Jehovah's Witness would feel like they're in a position where they can't lose this Bible study prospect. Right? They don't get them very often. They can't lose. The wolf feels like he can't lose this sirloin steak sitting right in front of him, because it ain't every day he wakes up to a sirloin steak sitting right there. So he's going to continue to pursue. Even after I would ask them questions that if you were to go to your relatives and ask, they would flat out say, oh, you're apostate, that's apostate, and they shut down the whole discussion. I would ask them questions and they would feel like they have to come up with an answer. They felt like they had to come up with an answer. And it was a foolproof way to discuss anything with the Jehovah's Witness. Because the desperation, the meeting attendance, everybody, they don't have many people at the halls, and they've already went and consolidated the Kingdom Halls, and some of the Kingdom Halls that they consolidated, As in they sold 2 or 3 halls and put all those people into one. Well, after COVID and the Zoom meetings, even that group's dwindled down. Now is the time. Just like the old Kingdom melody. Now's the time to covert crash. Time to wake the cult members up. Now's the time to covert crash. Let's discuss what covert crash is. So, when I was doing that, basically, I was pretending to be interested, and the Jehovah's Witnesses would literally fight over me. They would literally fight over me. As far as the person behind the magazine counter comes up to you, hey, do you want a Bible study? Has anybody talked to you about the Bible study? Then the person who was at the front door, you know how they got 6 Jehovah's Witness guys standing at the front door for some odd reason? One of them looks at the guy at the magazine, behind the magazine desk, and looks at him like, I saw him first. I talked to him first. Then he comes over and he said, I can do a demonstration of the Bible study. Like they're fighting over you. They're open for you to ask questions. You can ask any one of them questions. What I like to do with the covert crash, the difference between the Kingdom Hall crash and throwing a grenade and then getting rushed out, is with covert crash, you can kind of sit and look and pick someone out. Does it look like there's somebody who you would like to pursue more so than just whoever, right? Does it look like there's somebody that's there and they don't really want to be there? Does it look like there's somebody that is there because they're kind of being pressured? Is there somebody that like to sit in the back and kind of, they're kind of, maybe they're questioning, and then you can pursue them and you walk up to them, they're going to say hello. The Jehovah's Witnesses are trained to love bomb, meaning you covertly walk up to them pretending to be the potential Bible study. They are trained by the cult to drop their guard and come talk to you. So you can hit anybody with the truth about the truth. Maybe ask some questions about the Australian Royal Commission. I heard you guys were on the Australian Royal Commission. Oh, what's that? Oh, that's this right here. You're new. They don't know you're not supposed to. You don't know you're not supposed to play videos in the Kingdom Hall, nothing like that. That's this here. Isn't this one of you guys? I heard, what is that called? A governing body member? And oh yeah, that's him. What is he saying right here about? It would be presumptuous for to say that this is the one true religion. What is he talking about? Now they gotta sit there and watch. They done watch something that they would have never watched, and you just did it in the Kingdom Hall. You just covert crashed someone, and you're not getting rushed out. The only difference is you only did the one. You know what I mean? If you do it a whole group of people, it might be a little bit. You only did the one, and now that one person feels like they've been trained by the cult that now they got to answer you. Now they got to come up with something. They can't just brush it off. Now they got to think about what you just told them, because Jehovah's Witnesses feel like they're better than everybody else. They feel like they got all the answers. Now they got to come up with a solution. And in doing so, they're looking into things that they ordinarily would not. Now, in being covert, it's just that. You're undercover. You don't want to blow your cover. So they're going to ask you for your phone number, right? To call you and talk to you about Bible studies and things like that. Or they may ask you for your email, right? If your phone number is connected to your social media, if your email is connected to your social media and you give them that, well, Another thing about Jehovah's Witnesses are they are extremely nosy, and they are extreme as far as getting into other people's business. So whatever you give them, they're going to look up. For example, if you give them your real name and your real name is directly connected to your social media, which is directly connected to 100 XJW groups, they're going to find that. So just be mindful that if you want to get involved with the covert crash, like I'm going to, and I'm going to have fun, you want to be careful of what you give them. If you give them a fake name, try to remember the name you gave them. Don't come into the Kingdom Hall and say your name's George. Then by the time the meeting is over and you're ready to covert pick somebody out to crash and ask some questions away. And keep in mind, you walk up to anybody. They're programmed to love bomb you. Don't then tell them your name is Sam because you just forgot the name you just gave them. Now they're super suspicious. Now you done blown your cover. Now they done realize this guy don't even, or girl don't even know her own name. So if you want to pick a different name, remember the name you gave them. I don't care. Write it down. Do something to where after the meeting you look and you brief yourself. Okay, this is the name I'm using. Because from my personal experience, it's almost foolproof outside of them knowing who you are, which is why you might want to try this. If you are currently living in or next to the Kingdom Hall, you're kind of like raised in, of course you can't try it there. You might want to go a little bit further out to try it. Or if you now live somewhere that you never lived before, have fun. Have fun, right? If no one knows you, all you got to do is not blow your own cover. You don't have to worry about somebody else seeing you that knows you and then they blow your cover. Oh, that ain't George. You know what I mean? That's Timmy. Timmy is an apostle. You don't want them to blow your cover. So I like to do it in areas where people don't really know me that well. And if you feel like, because what will happen is the more regular you are, the more they're going to expect that you're going to be studying with them and things like that. I like to move around. I'm the sniper that likes to move locations from time to time. So I'll do one Kingdom Hall and then I'll take a break for a couple weeks. Then I'll come back and then they'll see you. They'll be super happy again and they'll be wide open again for you to take some, some truth about the truth sniper shots. Adam. Also, you just want to, just try to, keep your composure because the meetings can be triggering. If the meetings are very triggering, then this is not something that I would suggest you do because you don't want to do anything that's going to upset you, right? So if being around that sort of thing is upsetting, it's better to just stay away from it, right? Because you don't want it to trigger negative feelings, depression, the abuse. If you've been abused by that cult, you might want to stay away from the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses because it might bring back all the trauma. But if you feel like you are free to do something like that, by all means, I'm going to do it. And if you would like to reach me online, I have a Facebook group, right? You can send me a text, different things like that, but sometimes I'm at work or sometimes I'm not able to answer back then. And what happens is it gets backed up and I start trying to answer people back. And before I get to the bottom of the list, then I got to go back to work. I got to do this. I got to do that. Then more people call and it becomes, one of those situations. So I have a Facebook group The name of the Facebook group is and it's a bad word, so you might want to cover your ears here. It's a B word, so you might want to be, don't cover your ears. The name of the group is the Fuck with Watchtower Society. We are the society that fucks with Watchtower. The Fuck with Watchtower Society. You can join that group on Facebook, and it's a little bit easier to make sure I get to everybody who wants to talk. If you want to talk about something and you don't mind it being in a group, you can do that. Or we can still try to, make contact via the phone. But Jehovah's Witnesses, the desperation, the domino effect of the desperation, the dominoes fall, is the meeting attendance goes down. COVID hits. They are not as polished as far as their cult activities anymore. Their guard's down. The Zoom meetings take away even the members that they gathered together by selling halls and consolidating. And then the desperation goes through the roof for someone who looks like they can add them to the cult. Well, if I go covert crashing, if I go covert and pretend to be that person, from my experience, unless you're just a really, 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 really bad actor, you know what I mean? You got to be at least a 3 between 1 and 10. You got to be at least a 3 as far as an actor. Unless you're a really bad actor, this is a cult. These people are mind numb to a lot of things, and the covert part works. Whether they wake up is up to them as far as whether they want to wake up or not. But when you do the covert, you're giving them the information that they would not ordinarily have, and the questions go in their mind that they ordinarily wouldn't have. So think of some really good questions if you want to do the covert crash, and don't give them anything that attaches you to your identity. I like to use hey, this is my work phone. I can't really give you this number. This is my work phone. I don't have a personal phone. They come on. The cult has trained you. The cult trained you to then be covert and wake them all up, right? This is just like a part on the school or in the service meeting that they used to have back in the day. It's just like the field service presentation, right? Hey, this is a work phone, so I can't really give out this number because it's my work number and other people use this phone. So I got to wait till I get a phone, but you can give me your information. I'll try to get back with you on some information. That way you control the phone calls, you control the text, you control the narrative, and you're using the skills the cult gave you to lie to people and manipulate people. You're just using it on them, right? Isn't that fair? So covert crash season for me is going to start beginning of next month, end of this month. I've got a Facebook group where we can all talk, have fun. There's people that have had negative experiences with XJW groups. Hopefully this would not be one of those. We can all have fun, talk about what we want, laugh, share experiences. The name of the group on Facebook is the Fuck with Watchtower Society, right? So you think about it, you get it. It's the Fuck with Watchtower Society. It's a society I'd love to be a part of. So 937-789-4029. That's also a number you can try to reach. Again, with my work schedule, I work throughout the middle of the day and then I'm off later at night. So that's why sometimes if you call, I might not be able to answer because I'm at work, and then You know, sometimes after work, it's late at night. I'm getting dinner, and then I'm asleep. So we'll find a way to make contact if you're interested in that. X Wall Kill Bethelite signing out.